Hi everyone. In this quick video, I'm going to show you what to do for our programming assignments in EGR200 as we work remotely. So I've set up what I call a guide script, and it's basically pseudocode. So when you download this .m file, you will notice that it doesn't run. You won't actually be able to click the run button on your computer because it is comments that are explaining what to do, but it doesn't actually have the code set up for you to run. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk through this step by step for programming assignment 2. I won't make a video for future assignments. I'll just give you the pseudocode, but I want to show you what I'm asking you to do with this method of providing the steps and the framework, and then you fill in the code. So we have our pseudocode here, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of the code and I'm going to click comment. Now, if I click run, it won't break anything. It won't run code that isn't complete. And I'll be able to go through step by step, removing the comment symbol as I correct the code and turn it into programs and functions that will actually work. So let's read through the comments just to get an idea of what we're trying to do. So the problem, and this is a problem from the back of the book, is to calculate the natural log of 1 over 1 minus x for a user input value of x. We also want to give an error message when the user value is not allowed. Step 2, we want to figure out, okay, well, what inputs are allowed? If we have a value that's greater than 1, we won't end up with a real number for the natural log. And so we want to stick with real numbers. We want to have this be something that is like a simple calculation. So we want to tell the user that the number has to be less than 1. And we also want to make sure that there's an error message if the user types in something like text. So let's get started by just reading in the value. So we have x equals input, but this is not a complete function. You need to write a statement in quotes that will tell the user what to enter. So we've already kind of thought about this. Enter value for x that is less than 1. Now, if I type it like this, it will print it out on the command window, but there won't be a return character. It will ask the user to type right next to this text. That can be okay. I just like how it looks a little bit better if there's a return. So I'm going to type this special character, /n. That's the new line character for Matlab. I'm going to test it out. Enter value for x less than 1. So I'm going to try to enter 0.5. And I can see that it took my number and it saved it in the workspace. Now we can go through and we can do a test on the value that we read in from the user to see, is it actually a number? So if statements work by putting something after the if statement that is either true or false. Let's test this out on the command window before we write the statement. So if I have something that is a mathematical equation like 2 plus 2, I can test, does 2 plus 2 actually equal 4? It does. I get a logical value of 1. If I do a similar equation, 2 plus 3 equals 4, I'll get a logical value of 0. So Matlab has the ability to take comparisons. It could be something like 3 is less than 6, and we get a true, or 3 is greater than 6, and we get a false, and turn it into a 0 or 1 logical value that's either true or false. What I'm trying to do on line 21 is make a comparison, not for is it less than or greater than, but what type of data is it? So is the number entered by the user a double? So I can use the is_a function, is_a_x double, and I can see that that's true for the first value that I entered in. So that's what I'm going to get running in my code, is_a_x double, and if it is not a double, I'm going to have an event, which is it's going to print out an error message. And the error message will say, not a double. All right, so we can run this. And I'm going to enter a value. And I'm going to enter a value that is a double to start. I'm going to enter 0.7. And I don't get any message, which means it was working. I'm going to add a message here. Is a double. And I'm going to add that new line character just so that my command window stays nice and clean. And I'm going to try this again. I'm going to enter a value for x. This time I'm going to enter something that is not a double. I'm going to enter a character, not a double. So I know that my program works. I'm going to run it one more time and enter a double. Is a double. And now I can keep adding to it. So I've checked that I have a double. I also want to check that it is less than 1. So the expression for that in Matlab to check if something is less than is just the less than character. So if x is less than 1, so we have confirmed that we have a double. We've confirmed that the double is less than 1. We're able to do the calculation. Result is going to equal ln of 1 over 1 minus x. And we get a value for result. And what we want to print out is not just is a double, but we want to say your result is, and then we use this special symbol, 4.2f. It's a format spec. It's saying that it's going to do a floating point number with this formatting to hold the position for where our variable will go. And then after the quotes, we can put the name of the variable that we want to show up with that format spec. So let's test this out so you can see how it works. At least one end is missing. That is true. So if it's a double, do this. And then we want to say else, print not less than 1. And then we need an end. And we'll also do, if it's not a double, we'll see if it's an integer. And if it's an integer, we'll copy this. And we'll figure out if it's less than 1. If it is less than 1, we'll figure out the result. Otherwise, we'll print not less than 1. And finally, if it's not a double and it's not an integer, then we want to print an error message that x is not a number. So I'm able to enter a value for x. I'll try 3, not less than 1. 0.1. Oh, a next nice value, ln. That makes sense. So our result equation in Matlab, it's going to be the log function. So now we should be able to get the values. 0.2, the result is 0.22. 0.1, the result is 0.11. Negative 300, the result is negative 5.71. If we purposefully make a mistake and we enter a character, we get x is not a number. And if we purposely make a mistake and we enter a large value greater than 1, we get an error message that it's not less than 1. So this is all you need to do for programming assignment 2. You're going to walk through step by step, change the code so that you're testing for all these conditions. The natural log ln function is not what you want to use. I even have a little note here. Note log is equal to log natural log in Matlab. So this is the result that we're trying to calculate. And you can put anything in these purple quotes for the fprintf statements. You can write different error messages. You'll get full credit as long as your error messages are complete and make sense, and the code is able to calculate the natural log of 1 over 1 minus x for values that are less than 1. I hope this video helps you get started with programming in Matlab.